Nice. All right.
Hi there. Welcome to the Friday Games Review. I am your host, Ian Nee Lewis. Wait, no, we totally switched off, right? I'm not the host anymore.
Well, that's okay. You're
the host
actually,
for
according to the
anything
titles, you're Dan Galpin and I'm Ian Nee Lewis.
Did I get that wrong?
I know. Wait, hold on. I just dropped my mic, so like everyone's going, "Oh no, there's rustling sound."
It's okay, dude. Don't complain on YouTube. We've heard it all before.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't believe I did that. You know why? Because I'm left-right challenged.
Okay.
It's because I come from a mirror universe.
That makes sense. Yeah, that would explain a lot, actually.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Dan's from the Mirror Universe because he has the Spock evil twin beard going.
Dude, that's not the Spock evil beard. That's the plantation owner beard.
Oh, that's what that is. Yeah, I see. All right,
in fact, it shouldn't say Dan Galpin. It should say Colonel Dan Galpin.
That's right. It does look kind of like Colonel Sanders, doesn't it?
It does indeed, my friend.
In his younger years, before it came up with 11 herbs and spices.
That's right. It was back to 9 herbs and spices back then. Yeah, speaking of herbs and spices.
They discovered the other 2 at that point.
Let's bring in our special guest.
Special guest? Oh, yes, absolutely.
We have a special guest every week.
Special guest, I know.
All right, like, so today we are drinking Hoogstraten Porter, which may or may not be good. I don't know.
All right.
You can see it's the bottle is resealable, so if we don't drink it all,
that's right.
That's a useless expense.
Yeah,
that's pretty needless right there. But we have some great apps today. Dan and Co. talked last time, and they're like, screw this whole theme thing.
That's right.
We're just going to go with whatever the viewers want.
Exactly.
And by viewers, we mean whoever had enough friends to nominate something and get it voted up.
Exactly.
We've got some good stuff today, I think. And we also have our new high-tech title system. Watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Whee! So that's what we're going to watch. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to. Because I'm supposed to be sitting over here.
Right,
yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I know. This is all challenging. All right.
No, we're totally good. We just have less space.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Pearls Deluxe, Asuri Tower Defense, Sacrisy RPG, Potentia, and Off-Road Legends, and that's a lot to get through. So let's start up our super duper Sports Center title sequence. Okay. Well, that's all there is.
Is that what?
But I totally downloaded the a demo version of After Effects last night.
Yeah.
So if I get some time over the weekend, who knows what amazing things might happen.
There might be some amazing, cool stuff. All right, I've now put them on in the right order here.
Yeah, sir.
There we are.
All right.
Oh.
Indeed. Okay, so let's start with Pearls Deluxe. Now, Pearls Deluxe is a game that reminds me a lot of something I've seen before. Did we play Pearls, the non-deluxe version, at some point, or?
I don't know. I thought you were going to say Pearls Deluxe has got the most washed-out looking feature graphic that I've ever seen.
That is an issue. Yeah, you may. A lot of things about this feature graphic are good.
Yeah.
It's definitely legible.
Yes.
But yeah, it
looks
could
like
maybe.
it's been. Not only does it look washed out, but it also looks like it's just been scaled up. Rather than scaled down, which...
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that may actually be my fault. I may have actually put it on a different resolution.
No, I looked at it on Google.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of fuzzy looking, so...
All right. So, obviously, a great feature graphic is important, but it's particularly important if you want to get featured.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about Pearls Deluxe. So, Pearls Deluxe ended up being a really fun game, I think.
Absolutely.
Do you play it much? It doesn't support.
Yeah, we're gonna play it.
We're gonna put this down, I think.
Play it like that, just so we don't jiggle the HDMI, because it's.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. I put it down at an angle, and then I looked at this, and I thought, oh no, how is that at an angle? That's just the way it works. So yeah, so Pearls Deluxe is kind of it's a slight twist on your typical bubble popping game.
Yeah, actually, I think it's pretty significant twist. We're basically what you have to do is create sequences of paths that have to cover all of the dots. You can't all of the pearls that are the same color that are touching each other, but also have to be in a line that goes straight through without any turns or diagonals. So like it's impossible to pick up.
Well, without any backtracking, yeah. So
Without
for
any
instance,
backtracking, it's
this one
impossible
you
to-
can't do,
you can't
which
do.
I love in that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have
yeah,
really, really cute sound effects
Yeah.
that we can't play because of the man.
Yeah,
Alright.
exactly. Ooh, there's a big one over there. On that.
There is?
Yeah,
Oh, let's
yeah.
see. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I
Okay.
know.
Yeah, so
And
what I
there's
like about
definite-
this twist is that it's not just a change in the way it's played from mechanics level. It does affect your strategy deeply.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's you can definitely screw yourself up and get to a point where there's just nothing you can pop anymore if you're not careful. Also, there's a timer throughout the game, as we just saw. So, just some general comments about the game. One, this is a example of what happens when you don't actually look at the ad on a tablet device.
Yeah. Yeah. Your ad network is probably not going to be happy with you for that.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
more of it. People aren't even going to know what that is, and maybe they'll get some clicks that way. I don't know, but I suspect you'll get fewer clicks if people can't read the ad. But you never know.
Yeah.
I never know what really works with these things.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one thing to look at. Now, what does the share button do? I didn't actually try it. I'm a little bit terrified.
Well,
It
that
looks
is
like-
a share intent,
It
actually.
is a share intent. That's good.
But you've also got a Facebook button, which,
Takes you to the website.
yeah, we're not super thrilled with that. And let me be really clear, it has nothing to do with the particular social network. If this was a Google Plus button, we would feel exactly the same way. It's just, there's already a share intent, and adding extra stuff on there, especially something that's going to take you out of the game and launch a web browser, which is almost always going to take a long time to start up, and it uses battery and it uses data.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's also kind of a question of whether you want to actually launch it in the external browser, launch it in a web view. I don't even know what you want to do in this case.
Yeah.
It's like
And the thing is, part of it is the fact that there's already the share intent available, but I understand that there's a difference between liking something or plus wanting something and sharing it. But if you look at how these buttons work on websites, when you plus one something or when you like something, that's a single action. You just press that button and you're done. It's supposed to be a very, very lightweight action. But here, you've changed something that's supposed to be lightweight and you've made it extremely heavyweight.
exactly. So that's I completely agree with you.
Basically, I liked you when I pressed that button, but by the time the web browser launched, I no longer liked you.
Exactly. You just have to be just that much more enthusiastic about the game to actually get to the liking
Exactly.
phase.
It is a
when you go
pretty
this
good
way.
game, though.
It is. In general, it behaved reasonably well. Nothing wrong with this.
All right.
So in terms of what happens when you press the back key here, reasonable. Now again, it looks like a dialogue, and there we are back at our home screen. So not too bad.
Now, in sharp contrast to that, let's take a look at our next game. So, Asuri Tower Defense, I have to admit, it really got my hopes up.
Well, you are a tower defense.
I love tower
fanatic.
defense, and when
this is a man
I saw
who purchased like tons and tons of items in Radiant Defense.
I purchased every item in Radiant Defense. Absolutely, got all the upgrades. I would love to have a game like that again. I still play Radiant Defense sometimes. I'm up to 13 million.
Exactly. So you have the right reviewer here for this one, is what I was saying.
And then I looked at the feature graphic, and I'm like, that looks pretty promising. That's got some nice stuff. It's a little dated, but not bad.
Yeah, it's
I looked at this, and I'm like, well, hell yeah. Asuri TD is an awesome new strategic tower defense game filled with action. Asuri Tower Defense is an awesome new tower defense game. Oh, okay. It's a unique strategy game and full of action.
You'll never have a dull moment while playing it. You
may
may play
have played
other tower defense games.
But Asuri is the ultimate tower defense game and brings you to places with a unique story mode!
So
I was excited.
People have the idea that if you repeat a keyword a whole bunch in a description, it's more likely to be like found by us.
That's not actually true, no.
But it's not,
It's
so,
actually
yeah.
kind of
Just-
less likely because we think it's spam.
Yeah. So
But here's the thing.
As a general thing, don't do it.
I
now
think you
what-
could forgive me for getting my hopes up once I read this. Now, once I read
I read it and I looked at it. Why are they spelling tower defense multiple ways within their description? Maybe they're just
my
trying
guess
to
is they're from
cover-
India and
Yeah.
they've still got a bunch of leftovers from their former British masters.
Well, it was interesting they spelled it both ways, and I was thinking maybe
Yeah,
they wanted
that
to
was
make
kinda
sure they
weird.
got both keywords or something like that.
That's
for
possible,
defense.
yeah.
But our system is smart. I don't think that's actually necessary.
Yeah.
So.
In any case, I got to the part about the story plot, and I'm like, oh, story plot. And then it says the story is about Hiro and Rose. They travel through space and time. They start to like each other. I'm like, that's And then I read the reviews, and here's where it got interesting for me.
Okay.
I read the reviews, and I noticed that they had a very good rating.
Okay.
I also noticed that there are 2 reviews left by kind of random people with sort of just random names that say this game is not worth your time. It's absolute rubbish.
Okay.
There are then 3 reviews that are extremely complimentary, all of which have Indian names.
Okay. Well, maybe it's just designed to appeal to that demographic.
That is completely possible. Or it might very well be that
the
dude's
demographic
Indian
of their friends.
and
Exactly.
yeah.
It could be. That happens.
Yeah.
If you have a small enough sample set, your friends can actually alter the.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're gonna pack reviews with your friends, make sure that they've got like distinctive names instead of just like the same family name. That's a tip off. Anyway, let's take a look at the game. Now the thing about tower defense. Oh, now this is where it goes wrong. Can you take my overlay off? Beautiful. See, that's what we get for having a professional engineer.
You can get rid of us actually too momentarily, because I think people should get the screen without our faces. No, we're back.
There are some.
You did say momentarily.
That's a good
That's
point.
true. All right, so there's some really nice talented artists somewhere behind it. Unfortunately, they're further behind than I would probably like. It's covered with these gigantic fake Comic Sans, bubbly in a sort of 1995 way buttons. Which is just horrible. And they've got their own take on the blink tag. So kudos there. There's also something on the title screen that says, when experiencing lag in game, consider to turn off music and or sound by clicking sound icons.
Are those the icons here, or are those the icons in the game? I think this may be the.
I don't care. I don't care at all. This is an ugly title screen. Fix it. You need to fix that. You've also reused the exact same set of 9 patches apparently or is that even 9 patches? I'm not sure. For these buttons on the left and right hand side of the screen, where they look very inappropriate.
The big button on the left that says back is kind of pointless, isn't it?
This is one of those cases, like we said, that just because you got yourself like a demo copy of Photoshop and you know how to use the gradient tool, does not mean that you're going to make a beautiful glass UI. It's a lot easier to put together something that looks like this.
I'm totally betting on the GIMP right now.
You think this is GIMP? Oh, yeah.
But anyways.
But it doesn't have a cheesy embossing effect, at least.
And
they have a start here, which is
using the GIMP.
They have a start here, which is nice because I wouldn't have known. Although I will say that the blue arrow here below the start here button is almost invisible.
I do kind of like the effect, the pixelation effect they've got going over there.
So this is kind of cool. Definitely needs a little bit of thinking about fonts.
Actually, I would just like it to be rendering the font on the device.
Right. That would help too.
That actually would make a huge difference in all of these things. It just makes it. You may not be able to tell out there in Viewerland, but the font.
It's
really
interesting that I actually that slipped past me.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole time I've been thinking, well, I guess it makes sense that the fonts look crappy because I must just not be looking at it at the resolution it was authored.
Okay.
But no, they actually baked these fonts in.
Yeah.
So this is great. It just again, you need to have a designer on this.
But,
okay, this is again some really here for instance
now
we've
got
got
fonts, which is cool.
So we've got a lot of text here that is not well planned out. For instance, resources, the word is actually broken in. Yeah. Right.
I guess I don't even know what to say about this other than wow.
Yeah. When you actually get into the game, again, we've got a weird mix of somewhat attractive graphics and things that aren't attractive at all. It's not at all apparent how I start the game. I seem to remember that I finally clicked like over here, and then I'm gonna build some stuff here. Build some towers.
It seems like it was an amazing amount of text to not tell you anything useful.
Yeah.
About I guess you don't have any more funds left to build.
Right. Now in this case, there's a couple of things that I have to object to. So the individual pieces of art are okay. The animation is disappointing. The death graphics are kind of cool. Like they've got a little explosion, but you'll notice they don't remove the sprite until after the explosion animation finishes, it completely
It'd be
breaks
so much cooler to fade the sprite out during the explosion, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. In general, you should be. What you really want to do is take your sprite, get rid of the unit sprite as soon as it dies, and replace it with something else, whether it's the explosion or something that shows it breaking up, or something that fades out, or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, these laser beams, I'm not buying them. They're not exciting. These things aren't taking damage in any obvious way. Even the health bars are very, very hard to see. And
I like the little explosions when they reach your base, though. That's kind of cool.
It is cool, but it'd be great. I mean, they completely cover the unit. Why isn't the unit being removed under cover of that explosion?
Agreed.
It's odd. Yeah.
It's odd because a lot of these things seem really easy to do.
Right.
It's like, this is fairly low. You forget you got this really cool little water effect there on the other side, which I'm sure someone spent, a little bit of time actually thinking about doing. And
I mean, it feels like they've got some talent, but it's just very, very uneven. And when I played this on my Nexus 7, it actually had an interesting bug where they would reach the heart here, which is the endpoint, and actually just turn around and go back. They wouldn't die until they got all the way back.
Wow, that seems like that actually requires some really interesting pathing. That's cool, but odd.
Yeah, indeed.
Exactly.
So
I wonder if that's good. If they were
essentially, this isn't grabbing me. It's also it starts out very difficult and continues to be difficult, and then doesn't really give you any payoff for that difficulty. So I have to admit that while I love tower defense games and I really wanted to like this one, I didn't play past the first level.
No. So
if the second level's awesome,
I'm hoping
message me.
I'm hoping the story actually kind of continues on.
I don't want the story. Some guy falls in love with a girl. I hate those things. Stories. All right.
So that's that. It sounds like there's the core of a lot of ideas there that could be polished up into a game.
Now this is probably a good time to mention that our good friend producer Alex is online watching the YouTube video. I had to check because last time he was like getting his email and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Producer Alex is sitting there bitter because Dan finally showed up, and so he didn't get to do the games show.
Did you play these games, Alex?
No, but he grew a beard.
I played them all too.
Okay. Well, good.
What did you
comment? What did you think of Azura TD? The Cherry TD? Because that was the one I didn't actually have time to play. So.
Pretty much everything Ian said. One interesting thing they do have going for them though is 0 permissions.
Nice.
That is cool.
All right, a thumbs up to that.
That's impressive.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. By the way, Alex, we're not to your left. We're right in front of you. Yeah, totally. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, actually, you know what? I have to mention one other thing. Asuri's TD. Now, this does not apply to the full version, which, for all I know, is completely different and better. But whatever. What is up with this icon? You don't need to put the name of your app in the icon.
Yeah.
That's sort of a waste of space.
Could you go to the screen, Ray, to just switch over to the tablet, because I just want to show this icon off, because it is kind of special. Now notice the Asuri TD paid icon is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. It's all right.
It looks better, and it doesn't have the name in there.
Right, but the free one, yeah. So it feels
menu,
like.
Does the menu look better too? I'm curious.
No, it's exactly the same.
Well, it doesn't have the buy thing at the top, which makes it look better. But yeah.
Well,
exactly.
That's true. It's all the same.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, just thought it would be worth checking out.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on then to Sacracy, I guess, or Sac Racy. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Sacracy.
Okay, so Sacrisy apparently is a location-based action RPG. Now, I didn't play this because, as an ethereal being, I have no location. But Dan did.
Yeah, this is going to be fun because I'm turning on location here, and I didn't actually try the location. Mock locations are not allowed. Please disable mock. All right, I'm going to go to couch mode. Go back. All right, so I actually never got to see the location stuff work in the game, and I have no idea whether it actually has any relevance to the gameplay. It doesn't feel like it will, but that's just. That being said, the game is set in this sort of 16-bit styled fantasy world that we're looking at here, and it has
that's kind of cool.
And it has touch controls that move you ever so slowly through the board.
Ooh.
And because of this game,
so is this one of those games that advertises there's like 30 hours of gameplay and 29 of them are spent walking from one place to another?
Yeah, and I'm here at this temple, and you say I just killed off someone. It doesn't actually go through explaining how to actually play the game. It has a tutorial that explains what you're supposed to do next. Like, so as you go through, it's like, all right, now find this skeleton and kill him, but it doesn't actually explain how. And it turns out,
isn't that just like an old dude? So it's like some random senior citizen that you just killed?
It's not clear why that guy was attacking me. He might,
Oh, he was attacking you? Is that what you're gonna go with?
Yeah, he was actually.
That's his defense, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, now that looks like a zombie. I'm not
Maybe
sure.
a Frankenstein.
Hey, it's kind of cool looking.
Oh no, it's like a zombie knight, I think.
It looks like I might have gotten poisoned because I'm all green. Anyways, the game mechanics are pretty basic. You know, the graphics are definitely sort of a combination. They kind of remind me of kind of like Ultima 5 or Ultima 6.
You know what? Yeah,
level.
this is actually, I think this is the first game of this sort that I've actually liked the graphics, because usually my attitude is like, okay, dude, if you're gonna go retro, go full retro, because if you go retro but high res, it just ends up looking stupid. But these guys totally pulled it off. It looks retro, and yet it's really high res and it looks good.
Yeah, and there's lots of really, really nice touches in the graphics of this game.
And I'm really digging that temple that's right under my arm.
Yeah.
Here, move over so it gets so the viewers can actually see it.
Yeah. So
that looks cool.
So while the game did drive me crazy with the sort of the actual play of the game and the very, very slow pacing of these early scenes, and the sort of semi-bewildered state of what I'm supposed to be doing in the game.
I assume you're supposed to be killing everything, and then taking whatever is not nailed down. Can you go inside the temple?
Not that I was able to actually find out. I tried doing it. It didn't seem like I could go in the temple.
Is that dude associated with the temple? Is he like a friar or something? Don't kill him!
I know. That's if he now.
Oh, okay.
Welcome. What is it that leads you here? I say they are resurrecting creatures, just as it was predicted. Only an ancient ritual can free us from this horror.
So I'm going to say right now,
gods for help.
That is pretty, and I love the font, but it's not a font. It's a bitmap, and it's really, really small on this device.
Yeah, that's what it definitely. It actually might be a font, but if it is, it's being rendered really small.
Yeah,
it's
a little too small.
I can't actually tell.
The rest of the UI is actually, I would say it's as small as it possibly could be, but it's not too small.
Yeah, it actually works pretty well on this screen. What's kind of cool about this game, and we'll try not to lose HDMI in this. Maybe we can't do it here. Is it this game?
Oh no, yeah, you can't rotate that while you're...
So this game will actually play in both portrait and landscape, and has a different...
Now that's nice, yeah, and it should, right? I mean,
should.
why wouldn't a game like this be able to do that?
Now it does have audio on the lock screen. I will say that, which was made me kind of sad.
Yeah.
And
we've been beating that drum for a long time.
It has audio when you leave the application.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a ton of people complaining about this, and this is an example of something like we get really, really anal about things like no audio over the lock screen. That there's good reasons for that, but
users
nobody's
get really anal about audio when they happen.
You can't kill the audio. It's just playing all the time.
Yeah, if you don't exit and log out of the app, it keeps going until the system accidentally kills the app for whatever reason.
Yeah, I might want to take care of that. I think it would actually boost your sales.
The other thing to note is that there is, in theory, a way to get to other aspects of your character without doing this, but I couldn't find them. There's a lot of controls that are sitting underneath the menu key.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stuff here underneath the menu key.
And like Rayto and I just pointed out on the last show in the App Clinic, using the menu key is problematic because it is implemented in different ways across different devices. So if you can get rid of it and move to either an on-screen button or an action bar pattern or something else that is predictable, that's what we would recommend at this point.
Yeah, I mean, given that you guys have a lot of space, you could be using to pull up these kinds of menus.
Well, and they've got 8 freaking other buttons too. I mean, it's not like they're...
No, exactly. It's not like this is a menu. This is a devoid of buttons. But the main problem with this is that they're just not very discoverable, and it's actually kind of a pain to go here to get to my inventory. Now, there supposedly is a green jewel that I can click on to get to the inventory. I don't see it. But
green jewel.
Green jewel, and I assume this was the one.
But that's not a. It looks like a
chat
talk thing. Yeah,
exactly.
it's a chat.
So I'm not. So I don't.
Dude, what if the color that you think is green is actually what they think is red, dude?
Yeah, I thought about that. So you click on here and you get to this backpack, which is not the inventory. Oh, but I can't get to it that way?
See, that's the problem. Ideas that you come up with when you're high and never work out.
Yeah, I know. So, maybe I don't know. Okay, so yeah, my feeling is I wanted the game to grab me faster with a story and an engaging game. Now, I'm really curious about the location-based stuff. There is actually. And also with a tutorial that really explained how to play, not to kind of telling you what to do.
Yeah, that would really
I really
help.
wanted tap on the skeleton. You'll find the skeleton in the map because he's blinking in the corner. The map will show a map of the world around you because we're actually in a parallel universe, and that's what we're seeing here. All that kind of stuff.
Really, that's the whole story?
I think that actually is what's going on, but I don't. But I don't completely know. It's a little confusing. So there's a lot. This game really requires like probably 5 or 6 hours of deep exploration.
Here's the other thing that I just want to mention, and it's a little nit, and it wouldn't get anybody fired or anything, but that's the word tempel spelled out in Greek characters.
Yeah.
Tempel.
Yeah.
You know what? If you're going to use Greek characters, learn Greek. It's not that hard. All right.
Greek is kind of hard.
What?
Greek is kind of hard.
It's not hard at all.
It is.
You are Greek.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with authority.
You're biased.
Oh wait, hey, put the camera on the Greek man, okay?
Well, I actually want to ask a question, Alex. How old were you when you learned Greek?
I don't really know Greek very well because it's hard.
Good answer.
Malaka.
It is Greek to him. There we are. All right. So, thank you for being there as our a Greek correspondent. It's not often we get to take advantage of that. So.
All right, let's move on because this is obviously a deep game, but it's just so slow that I.
What was any other comments you have on the game?
Alex is there.
Sorry. Any other comments you have on the game?
All right.
Pretty much everything that you guys said. I found it very slow to get started.
Okay.
And the guy was just sort of. It was like the Lord of the Rings thing, where just a whole lot of walking. And it was supposed to be an adventure, but it's like 90% just walking.
Without the poetry.
Right. Without the poetry.
So there's a plus, but other than that, yeah. So this is something that,
and it's also an online game, by the way.
Right.
And I have not yet gotten to the really cool online features that I know must be there, other than the chat.
Well, but this is a good point. I mean, it's true that we review 5 games a week. We don't have the time necessarily to put huge amounts of effort into each one. But then again, neither do the people that you're hoping will purchase things. If we
have short attention spans, but so does everyone.
Everyone, yeah. I attended a talk by John Romero last year, and as you know, I mean, so John is obviously famous for
having a short attention span.
No.
Oh.
For Doom.
I know.
And for making an awesome game called Doom and a crappy one called Daikatana. But recently he's been in the
I killed lots of frogs in Daikatana. Okay.
Lately he's been in the Facebook space and he had some really, really good things to say. He and his wife made a game that whose title escapes me at the moment, but is very, very popular. And they pointed out that according to their metrics, people gave you about 30 seconds to a minute before they moved on to the next thing.
Wow. Okay.
And so no matter how deep your game is, if you can't grab someone in that amount of time, it's very, very unlikely that they will give you a second thought, because there are just so many things out there that people can be entertained by. Why would they work hard to be entertained by your system if it takes a huge amount of grinding, when they could very easily go to some other game and be entertained immediately?
Exactly. Yeah. No. I just wanted to get grabbed by the story more quickly, and definitely the movement speed was driving me just crazy in the game. And also, to be honest, it's really not clear when you're fighting. When you click, so there's click to move and click to fight. So you have to actually stop moving, wait for the guy to be there, then click him once you stop moving and he's next to
that's
you.
just a poor interface there. Yeah.
And so, so I really wanted the interface to be, even though I like in general, tap to move where you want to go. If you see the monsters there, I really want the tap to walk up and start bludgeoning.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty obvious. I mean, any mouse-based RPG, that's exactly what you do. If you tap on an enemy, you will move to him and start attacking.
Here's what that moves you to the position. You'll walk right through the enemy until.
That's just nasty.
That was the most awkward part for me. Was like click on a skeleton, we start walking toward each other, and then past each other.
Yeah.
The skeleton turns around and starts bludgeoning me in the back, and I just keep walking forward like I don't care.
Wow, that's like StarCraft UI. All right, you know what? We're just going to get madder and madder the further we go with this. Let's talk about Potentia, which I actually really enjoyed.
Potentia is super clever.
I love. The guy said it was his first game.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a simple game, but it's very well executed. So the idea with Potentia is that you are going to.
You can switch. There we are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're going to go ahead and draw a shape, and these are they start out as sort of Tetris shapes.
Yeah, most of them are tetrominoes.
But you can draw them in any orientation. Which honestly was the one thing I didn't like, because it meant I had to do a lot of drawing, and sometimes I'd get it wrong. But as an interface, there's a couple things that are really good about it. First, it's very reactive. It's got this particle system, which means absolutely nothing, but it's kind of cool.
Yep.
And it shows you where you're drawing. It's really, really good at that. And then what's clever about it is you're trying to fill space. So no matter what shape things are, the idea is you need to put them together so that you can get these things through. And if you wait for these
rectangles or squares, that's your goal.
Right. Well, and you're trying to fill the entirety of the board. And if you can, if you can make a square, for instance, like this. Almost like that. Let's see, I think I'm going to need a new shape there. Darn it. See, this is where I would love to have like better, intelligence of some kind. Why am everything I draw doesn't work? Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, it's
help me out here, man.
So you have to think about that block. You can only draw it in the four rotated orientations for that block.
Right.
So you can't. So unfortunately, it's a little. You do have to think back to the block in its physical shape rather than just its. So that you can't draw its flipped orientation basically.
Right. Exactly. You have to just draw it rotated, and so for me, because I'm handicapped that way, it was a little more difficult. Which is weird because I did so well on the ASVAB, spatial rotation stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just anyway. But
I blame the alcohol. Really.
Right there you go. So now I'm gonna see that made me a huge rectangle. And one thing that's kind of cool about this is that while that rectangle is building, I can actually make it bigger.
Yeah, that is really cool.
So I don't know if that actually helps anything, but I can do it. And then as long as I wait for it to fill up, it gives me more score. Now that doesn't seem like a big deal in a level like this, but in a level where you have very little space and very little time, that's kind of a big deal. Do you wait for it to fill up, or do you tap it immediately to get less score but more space? As you go on, the levels get more and more difficult, and you start moving from these tetrominoes to more and more weird and interesting shapes. Some of them are quite frustrating. And very, very large game boards. So actually, I think I have to admit, after several hours of play, I think I ended up crapping out on level 4 or 5, which was just gigantic. It was almost impossible to fill in the time they gave you.
We'll see. I know I was drawing that correctly, so it just didn't register my draw.
Now, no, the other thing that's interesting is you'll notice that some of these little blocks have cracks in them, and that becomes important later on because those will get removed if you don't have space.
Oh, nice.
Those are what they call leftovers, which are just, once you've drawn something, if part of the shape forms a rectangle and the rest of them don't, like these two right here,
Gotcha. Okay.
those are now going to turn into leftovers, and if you run out of space, those will get removed. And if that happens, you'll get more space, but your score multiplier will get reset.
Cool.
So right now you're at a score multiplier of 2, and it would get
gotcha.
reset back to 1.
Next board unlocked.
Right, and that's because you covered 50% of the board or more.
Yeah.
So
I
you
thought
can tell
this
this
game was totally
yeah.
clever. We were both, So I would like to see them get rid of the compatibility button in the zoom thing and target.
Right.
and target
Yeah. If you
current
look down
FPGA
at the bottom
versions,
of the screen, you can see a lot of things going wrong that shouldn't be going wrong. But overall, and of course, on this Asus Transformer Prime, the UI up in the upper left-hand corner is much smaller than it needs to be. It's verging on not being readable. You also do need a pretty hefty manual. I had to reread the instructions several times before I understood what was going on. And I would say that a more professional game would have introduced all of the concepts to me via tutorials rather than just kind of throwing me into it.
The only reason I knew what I was doing was that I watched the video, and that was super, super helpful. But I agree.
And see, that's the thing. I never watch videos. Why? Because they're a complete waste of time. Why would anyone watch a video?
So,
All right.
low on battery.
Okay,
All right,
well,
so
we better
that's
get to this.
gonna
Fortunately,
cap
we're almost to the next
cap
game.
our
Okay.
show. We didn't bring the charger.
Right. So, Potentia. Oh, look at that. So Potentia had a good feature graphic. Block dropping puzzle game reinvented for touchscreen will not be legible if Potentia is featured on a phone. So that's one thing that you want to look out for.
Also that icon, really, do we really need a rounded rectangle for that?
No,
icon?
you don't at all, actually. No.
I'd love to see you come up with some other theme other than.
Well, at least it's not as bad as the Off-Road Legends icon.
That's true.
Which has chrome around it. Although, since it's about monster trucks, I'll allow the chrome.
Yeah, and actually, I like the fact that the dust actually covers up the chrome as if it were real. A real.
That is
monster
cool. Yeah,
truck.
you should pop out, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, these guys did everything. Now the Off-Road Legends icon there, or the title, should be larger for a feature graphic. We usually recommend that it covers about 50% of the available pixels, so it should be like twice as big.
Yeah,
at
it's
least.
got to be at least a third the height of it. If it's smaller than a third the height of it, we say it's going to be illegible. And so, I would say if it were a good 25% bigger, it would at least be kind of the minimum acceptable size there.
This is Off-Road Legends by Dogbyte Games. I mean, how much more masculine can you get?
Exactly. Actually, I really like their other game is 8-Bit Ninja, which made me kind of laugh as I was looking at
That's pretty awesome.
This is a fairly radically different kind of game. Let's actually bring it up.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. So Off-Road Legends is a very polished game.
It's going to bring up Score Loop and say, "Hello, do you like fun?"
No, Score Loop doesn't ask if you like fun.
No, I know it doesn't. Oh no, it's bringing up Tapjoy ads. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get hit with that. Maybe my...
Ooh, I do like
what?
That. Is that not the awesome?
That is pretty sweet.
I know.
It's not exactly a monster truck, though.
I know. There we are.
You've got quite an accomplished garage, my friend.
No, that's because I pretended to go and review the game. You get that if you hit the.
They gave you an incentive for reviewing the game?
Yeah. So. But they didn't actually say what kind
of
review.
rope.
They didn't say what kind of review to get.
That's a good point.
They just said review the game and get this. And I'm like, cool. So I clicked the button and then I went back and I got this, which is kind of awesome. Oh, okay. So.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now the bummer is that I can't actually choose that bus for the monster warm-up, but.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. But this game has got pretty good visuals for the style of game it is, which is kind of this web style of track.
Yeah, it's like a 4-button. you know, basically.
I have to ask: are the wheels on this truck filled with helium? Because I'm not sure that those physics are legit.
I don't think this game.
That's because you don't live in America, my friend.
Woohoo!
You'll learn.
Yeah, this has monster truck physics. It's
Yeah.
the kind of physics we invented here.
Monster trucks are completely different from other trucks. They're
Oh, yeah.
monstrous. The thing,
Oh yeah, there we are. You have to have gratuitous and unnecessary pictures of people who look like Danica Patrick in your game.
that's right.
So
America!
I'm thinking GoDaddy right now. I don't know
Right.
why.
I'm thinking
But you should
like
be
half of the
driving the
racing
truck.
games in the world, honestly. But
Exactly.
I'll tell you what sets this apart is not only do they have a fairly good set, not perfect. The presentation is not perfect. There's a few kind of cheesy icons and some
It's a little
gradients that
busy at
look
times.
really, really out of place. But in general, especially in the game,
Yeah.
it looks great. And unlike many of the racing games that we've reviewed, they have some great crash physics.
Mm-hmm. They really, really do.
Yeah. Give us a crash. Give us a crash. Crash for daddy. Boom. No, that's
that
not
was
a
a
crash.
bad crash hole. This is a good one. Here we are. Woohoo!
Boom. Oh.
There we are.
Ah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's what we want.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I don't know. The truck is a little better, I think, than the car. I think they have a better crash model.
They do.
So, but yeah, they do have some weird physics. Like it is actually possible to lose a wheel without ending the race.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I know this because last night I lost 3 wheels and was unable to do anything, but the race was still on. You know why? America.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
So, whoa, that is awesome.
I think that's actually the first time you've ever sworn on the program.
What?
I think.
What did I swear?
So I know, shocking.
I totally.
You sang the song from.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, that happened inside your head.
Oh, okay, it might have. Ooh, there we are.
Weird.
Finally, I get to use my bus.
He
Yay!
has autocomplete profanity.
I know, maybe that's
He
possible.
talks and we just fill in the F-bombs.
Woohoo! So yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say on this game. I believe this game also plays sound
what?
on the lock screen, as I recall.
I'm gonna give it a pass.
Would that be because America?
Exactly.
I had it
Because
gave-
America, that's why.
Ooh man.
So, yeah, check that out. See, the race is still on.
Dude, there's nothing I can do. Can I put the tires back on?
I don't know. Maybe that's an in-app purchase. It totally
Ah.
should be.
God, how do I manipulate my car anymore?
Yeah, can you in-app purchase like a
I guess I
RAC
can.
membership? Like
Wow, this is pretty
all
sad.
that service.
Nice.
All right. Restart. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna run out of battery just at the right time here on the.
We're already over time, but this was a great game. It's
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
totally fine.
everybody's cup of tea. It's honestly, all joking aside, probably not my cup of tea. There's a few things that I would love to change about it. I feel like the difficulty is just wrong. It's not easy enough to get big air, yet it's too easy to land small jumps. There's not a lot of skill involved, and maybe it's just me because I live in the Bay Area, and for all my bragging, I know nothing about monster truck physics, but nice. Okay, now see, that's the thing. Right there, I'll tell you what really needs to happen. You need an achievement. You need something that
That's
pops
so
up and says,
true.
pancake.
Yeah, because that takes some.
You know what? Everything that I was saying is that was critical, I take it all back, because that was awesome. That was so awesome. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and...
We're never going. I can already tell that Ian's never going driving with me again. This is I've
I
demonstrated.
never drive with you. You drive a Prius.
That's true, actually.
All
Never
right.
again are we doing monster trucks
Is it
together.
an off-roading Prius?
That's true. That'd be kind of awesome to be like the jacked
how would
up
you know
Prius.
the difference? Yeah.
The, woohoo!
Oh yeah, you could. You
Spray on
could.
mud.
Yeah,
Nice.
Whoa, there we are. All right.
Boom. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Just after I made it through the jump.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I did this for Dan. Watch. We're done.
Oh man, flame effects. That's awesome. And that worked so well after off-road. That was pretty
Right?
cool. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely I can't wait to see what you do with After Effects now. You know, we could
I know, right? It's going to be incredible. All right. So
Wait, look. Check this out. What happened?
I poured myself a second glass.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
You poured me 0.
you've not given Alex any beer yet?
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Hurts.
Yeah, I know.
This is why I've been randomly muting you throughout the show.
Makes sense. Alex,
I actually
producer
thought it
Alex, how did the YouTube comment stream go?
Yes.
Actually, we have from the developer of Pearls,
Yeah.
who's also, by the way, the developer of Invasion of the Veggies, which we
Right.
reviewed a couple months ago. He says he updated the feature graphic, and it should be up soon. And
Awesome.
He'd like to get our feedback. It
Okay.
doesn't look like it's refreshed yet, but as far as developers have absolutely reviewed on the show, he is by far the fastest turnaround with the fastest feedback loop.
Yeah.
Rock on.
This is the second time while we comment on a thing, he says, "Hey, I can fix that."
Nice. Well, I think it's a good game. And
Yeah,
it's
it is.
one of those games
It's hard, actually.
it's
Yeah.
fun to pick and play. Well, actually, that's a good point. Actually, if you're still listening, so bubble popping games are incredibly popular, and they are. Hey, Reito, you can switch to me anytime you want.
I'm the prettier one.
I actually,
That's true.
I actually kind of
Got
like
some
it on
requests
Alex.
on the YouTube feed.
Yeah, exactly. We're totally scoring points with our Greek audience now.
Gotcha. Anyway, what I was trying to say is, if you're still listening, the bubble popping game audience skews older and female and is almost certainly not an audience that's looking for a really high stress game. Also, I play them a lot, despite not being female or. Anyway, the point.
Use it to de-stress. You know.
The point is that you do need to make
my
sure you've
moment
got
of
a
zen.
learning curve on these things that isn't going to completely frustrate your audience.
Yeah, I would say that was my one comment about the game. Is I sort of wanted there to be sort of an ease you in moment, and because of the design of the puzzles, it is actually kind of tricky to do that. But I think it's possible.
The other thing that I would suggest that I think would improve the game is it did take me a few times before I understood what the rules were of drawing the line through the pearls, and the game does a pretty good job of it.
It does, actually.
It's not bad, but I think it could really be improved with a few examples where you actually just draw the line for the user.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. Anything else on the YouTube there, Alex? Producer Alex? Executive producer Alex?
All's quiet on the YouTube front.
All right.
Well, you guys suck. All right. So that's our show for
We
today.
abuse our audience. That's what we do here on the Friday.
Oh,
Game
actually,
Review.
That's exactly what we do.
Igor says, "I think I'll be getting hammered tonight." Sorry, not me. I was thinking of Ian.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Who's got
Excellent.
2 thumbs and needs to go to AA?
That guy.
No. All right. Actually, I've been babysitting my baby daughter all week. My wife is out of town. She's in Shanghai on business.
Hopefully, she's bringing some cool stuff back for the household.
Boy, I hope so. I could use some more of those ceramic knives. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
those ceramic knives are kicking
Weren't
ass.
they good?
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good.
All right,
Brings
so-
them back for me.
All right. Well, that is our show. Thanks very much for joining us on the Friday Games Review. We will be back next week with another open topic. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, there was a lot of other stuff in this topic from this week too. So.
Right. Just remember that unlike before, we are refreshing the topic each week. So if you nominated something this week and it didn't get chosen, you do need to renominate it for next week in order for it to be considered again.
Absolutely. And we'll probably at some point have some themes as well again. I think that the current thought is that we'll actually always take some random games, so we don't have to have someone who waits for 6 months before we get back to their theme again, because a lot of people want us to look at their games. But also, we do really like the idea of being able to theme some of the shows.
We've also talked about a few other options. I'd love to get some feedback from our viewers.
Absolutely.
For instance, we've discussed the possibility of talking about the games that are going to be featured that week and why they were featured or what they have in common. We've talked about maybe looking at games from unknown developers or maybe even previewing games from known developers that you might be excited about. Let us know what you're interested in. We'd love to make this show more valuable to you.
What I really want actually at some point is to do a show where people nominate games that they wish were better. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
That would be an excellent, and that's one thing that we have talked about doing is maybe a game clinic, because we have plenty of tools here. We look at games in very in-depth ways all the time, trying to figure out how their draw order and their texturing and their resources and their geometry affect their performance. How can we make this game
suck less?
Yeah.
And we do that all the time.
We would love to kind of switch into that mode, I think. So
Absolutely.
Let us know what you think, and to all our drunk friends in Austria, hey. And that's so cool. Do you want to do Mirror?
Yeah.
All right. So, anyway, it's been good chatting with you on the Friday Game Review, and we will see you next week at our new time, right? We have a new time?
Do we have a new time? I did. Right. Sure.
Next week, make sure you check our Google Plus page because there may be a new time. And if there is, you do not want to miss that.
That's right. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.